On Unwrapped, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome the ACC Rookie of the Week, Australian Lara Somfai. Lara, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today on Unwrapped.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam. I appreciate it. So excited.
It's a pleasure. Now, you're at Stanford at the moment. Tell me about the experience of being a college athlete, a college basketball player. I talk to a lot of coaches, a lot of players on the show, and there's a lot of parents that listen to this show that are thinking about their children's pathways into college basketball versus representative basketball, NBL1. Why was college the right choice for you, and how have you found that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love it. I think everyone will probably tell you that. I'll be honest, it's really difficult, but
Yep.
I think I think I chose to go college just because I knew going pro, I could never go back to college, like with eligibility. So I was like, I really want to take that opportunity. Education's really important to me growing up. School's really important to me. I go to Stanford. I love school. So yeah, that was super important to me, and that's why I chose to go college. And I knew that you can go pro anytime. Like if you really want to, you can go back to Australia, play in Europe, like after a year or two, but you can never come back to college. So that's overall what made me made that choice. And yeah, I think I love college basketball. I think it is definitely super, super difficult, very competitive. The trainings are a lot, but I love it here. I love it here, and I love it because I see growth every single day. And I think especially time management. I think every college athlete will tell you when you come in, you're very overwhelmed, lots of studying, lots of meetings. It's just like your calendar's full. But I think I see growth in literally every area of my life, like time management, basketball, off court, my relationships, my friendships, like everything, every aspect of my life.
Does it mean so much more in terms of you talk about every single area of your life, which is really intriguing to me because obviously Australia, you're given a lot of opportunities at representative level. You've represented your country. You're living, breathing, eating, sleeping basketball and study right now, right? So I'm a big proponent of you are the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. And I think if you're spending the most time with teammates and coaches, then everyone is geared around you to help you get better on the court and off the court, right? What's been the biggest difference between going to school in Australia and being a semi-professional college athlete?
Oh, that's a really great question. I've never actually thought about that. I think probably just my environment. I think like
Yep.
here we have so much more support. I think we genuinely like, even when I was at COE, it's an incredible environment. Like that is
Yeah.
the best you can get in Australia, right? So coming here though, it's a completely different level. And I know any Aussie will tell you in college that here literally there's a person for every single thing you need. We have like a leadership coach, we have a positive psychology like coach, we have a sports psychologist, we have access to literally anything. So it's insane. And we have nutritionists. Like see, we had all that back in Australia, but it was never to this extent. I think we have a team of like over 50 people just for our
Wow.
15. Yeah, it's and like I know I talked to like Cam Brink over the weekend, and she was saying that like you'll never get the support anywhere else. In the pros, you don't get this. This is strictly for college. So you got to enjoy it while you got it. That was yeah.
That's crazy that, even at the pro level, you don't necessarily get the same arms wrapped around you and the same structure and same support. Um, you obviously want to be a basketball player. That's why you are doing what you're doing. So you want to be a pro one day. What lessons can you learn now from your experience that can allow you to structure your day, your approach, the way that you get ready for games, for seasons, the way that you rehab? What lessons can you take from your current experience that you can apply even if you don't get the same level of support around you?
Yeah, I think what comes to mind is like my two major lessons I've really learned from being in college. I think one of them is probably like I love to train. I think growing up back home, I would literally train like 2, 3 hours every single day minimum, like without a doubt. And so coming here, I was like, I need to do an hour and a half extra on top of our 3 hour practices every single day. And then I noticed kind of my body like wearing down a little bit. And I was like, oh, like, and the coach put me aside and I'm like, Lara, like, you don't need to do an hour and a half extra. Do half an hour, make it really good, make it quality. Like, I think that is one of the main lessons I've learned is like it's more quality over just doing more to like say, tell myself I'm doing more, if that makes sense. And also, just like recovery. I think I've really prioritized recovery since I've been here. I think staying healthy, our coach talks about staying healthy all day, every single day. That's our number one priority. So yeah, just really, really honing into my recovery as well.
You're not the first Aussie to attend Stanford. Alana Smith attended Stanford back in the day. I've interviewed Alana a couple of times, and the reason she chose Stanford was that she really wanted to push herself academically. You've called yourself a bit of a nerd, and speaking as a nerd myself, I want to know about your academic career as well and how you're leaning into that, where you're headed academically, where your passions are, and how Stanford's allowing you to be able to really realize those passions.
Yeah, I think well, coming into Stanford, I myself, like I have so many things different things I love, and I'm sure you're the same as well. Like I love a lot of different things. And so it's
Yeah.
really hard for me at the moment to narrow it down to exactly what I want to do. I think that's been my biggest challenge academic, just because I love every class. Like I love learning about everything. So at the moment, I've kind of narrowed it down to two. I will either like want to go down the psychology route and do like developmental psychology, working with
Okay.
children.
Yep.
Yeah, or because I know Alana's doing that as well.
Yes.
Or I want to do English lit. I love reading. I love writing. So either two very different paths, but I think I've narrowed it down. I'll decide as time goes by. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got time. That's the great thing about going to college for a few years. You can sort of figure out where your passions lie. Um,
Yeah.
who are your mentors around your life, around basketball, around outside of basketball? Who do you look to for advice? You've obviously got a great support network at Stanford, but who else? You spoke about speaking to Cameron Brink. Obviously, Alana went there as well. Who do you call upon for advice on and off the court?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, literally my parents.
Amazing though.
My parents, I talk to my parents like three times a day, every single day, as soon as they wake up. And I'm an only child as well, so a very strong bond with my parents. But yeah, I talk to them about everything. And even if they've never played basketball, they don't know anything about basketball, but they know more than me apparently. But no, I talk to them all the time. And also my grandma. I talk to my family. Family is very close to me. So literally all day, every single day, I talk to them. But I mean, back home, I have lots of mentors that I reach out to as well. Alex Starling, for example, Ahmed, Yelena, talk to them a lot too.
Shout out to the Somfai family for raising a very intelligent and well-spoken athlete, and also the fact that you go to your parents for everything is, as a young parent myself, the dream. So your parents would be stoked with
Oh,
that.
how old's your
Um,
kid?
I have an 8-year-old and I have a 6-year-old who have just started playing basketball themselves. So I'm right at the start of the journey. So I'm trying to not be the parent that yells on the sidelines. I'm just sitting there and just clapping when I need to clap. Um, but yes,
I think being a parent is one of the hardest jobs you can do. I genuinely.
it's not easy, particularly when they're young and think they're potentially a little bit older than they actually are, 8 going on 18. But so let's talk about your plan. So what does Lara Somfai's 5-year plan look like? 3-year plan look like? Where do you want to be in the next few years?
Yeah, well, I want to graduate from Stanford. That's my main goal. While I'm here, I think obviously I have goals academically that we've kind of touched on a little
Yep.
bit, but basketball wise, like our team is absolutely incredible. And I know we have goals that we put out for ourselves, like winning a national championship, getting to the final four, and we can do all those. So that's my main goal basketball wise. While I'm here to make the most of my time here, and with my team, obviously that's my main priority here, and just to grow as a person. I think in all aspects of my life, like I I've been here for what half a year and I've grown so much that I'm just like so excited to see after 4 years, what happens. But yeah, that's my main priority, finish here at Stanford. And then I would really, really want to get drafted. That would be my main goal.
Yep.
Get drafted. Yeah, that's the dream. But obviously I would love to play the W. And then but in like down the road, I really see myself settling down in Europe, playing in the EuroLeague. I absolutely love EuroLeague basketball. That's my favorite basketball in the world. So I definitely see myself settling down and in Europe. Yeah.
Well, you were born in Europe, right? So there's a familial connection there. There's a mental connection. What draws you to the style of European basketball, and how do you try to apply that to your own game?
Yeah. I think oh my goodness. I think the IQ in Europe is like no other. I think I see this, for example, you watch NBA, you see Luca, you see Wemby, like they're just on another level. And I think
Court
that
vision,
stems
right?
from, yeah,
Seeing all
literally
parts of the court.
all parts of the court and just their ability. Like I think being, for example, Luca's 6'8", like he's
Yeah.
a point guard, he's 6'8" point guard. Wemby's so tall, like that's insane. And I love that. And I think that translates in women's basketball in Europe as well. Like all the WNBA girls play EuroLeague in the off season. It's very physical, very fundamental, very fast paced. I just think the main difference for me is just the level of basketball IQ. Like, yeah.
Again, comparing and contrasting what you've seen in Australia with what you're currently seeing in college, what are the major differences in structure of games, in tactics, in physicality between what you see in, say, representative basketball and junior national level basketball in Australia and your current experience? And for players that are potentially looking to transition across to college or head across to the States, what are the major differences that, can shock you when you've only played in Australia?
Yeah, well, I think for me coming over, probably the biggest one was just like the physicality. And I
Yep.
also, for me at least, I feel like maybe my decision making a little bit. I think I rush a lot when I play basketball. For me, coming from Oz, we're just like go, 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 like fast break. And here, like you get very sped up because the girls are I think the game is a lot faster paced here. So coming over, I was just like, I gotta slow down, I gotta stay composed. So that was one of the things for me. And obviously physicality, but I also think maybe it's just Stanford and the way we play basketball here, but I think it's so in depth in like every aspect of basketball. Like for example, our plays, like I thought we had a lot of plays in Australia. I thought we ran a lot, but no.
Nowhere
Absolutely
near.
nothing. No, we ran like literally 2% of what we run here. Um, and just like I think the players and the systems, I think there's a lot more like how do I say this? Like basketball, maybe this is just it, but it's a lot more similar to school, I feel,
Yep.
than like back home where it's just like go and play and do whatever you want. We don't really do that in college. So yeah.
You must be a basketball nerd, right? As well. Like you must
Yeah.
watch a lot of tape. You must, really emphasize on the game itself. For the basketball nerds that are listening, what is your favorite play? What's your favorite set? You like describe that.
Oh my gosh. Well, if I'm being honest, I love like getting a rebound and just taking it down the floor. Like
Yep.
when the coach gives me freedom to like bring the ball up, that's what I love. I think I
Yep.
love rebound. I love outletting, going on the fast break. I think the fast break is the best play in basketball. I will like I love I think plays are great and they're necessary, but I feel like basketball players should just know what like they just how do I say this, know what to do and know how to read situations. I think that's super important. And I think coming from back home, we learned that growing up. Like in as
Yep.
Oz basketball, like you very much learn how to read your player. And I think that translates really well over here.
And
Yeah.
kicking it forward as well, when you get a rebound, when you're able to move fast, do you find that builds tremendous trust with your teammates as well? Because they know that they can expect the ball from you and they know that you're putting them in better positions to be successful.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. That's spot on, yeah.
What about the defensive end? What's your favorite aspect of the defensive end? What do you feel like you've improved the most on defensively since starting at Stanford? And what are the areas that you still have to be able to grow into?
Yeah, I think for me, my what I've improved the most on probably just my versatility and also a big, how do I say, it's like being more in control of my body. I
Yep.
think a lot of tall players, we're very like lanky and can't necessarily control our body on defense.
Yep.
So that was coming in. Our strength coach very much honed into me on that, and I worked on it every single day, still do. So yeah, I think that and just being able to guard, like I think. we do full court drills where I have to guard the point guard. So that really helps me a lot. And I think that will translate coming through the years. But I really want to be able to guard every position. I think that's very valuable.
For young kids coming through, there's a lot of emphasis on if you're tall, you can play basketball. And I find that, if you look at youth sports, you see a lot of kids that haven't quite grown into their bodies yet and haven't quite understood, how tall they are, how big they are. And to your point, if you're lankier, if you're taller, then you can kind of lack the coordination to be able to really understand where your body, how your body moves and how to move it effectively. How do you sort of build a base? Is it about a core? Is it about strength work with the legs? Is it about, agility? What do you work on? Is it all of those things?
I think it's all of those things. I know for me, probably what I've noticed in like the difference in like my training growing up, I think
Yep.
I would always train with my mum. She doesn't play basketball, but she would
Yep.
learn on YouTube how basketball works and she would
Nice.
teach.
Shout out
Yeah,
to mum. That's pretty cool.
I know she's the best. But yeah, I mean, growing up, literally up until I moved to the IS, I trained as a guard and I trained with guards. Like
Yep.
I did ball handling every single day. That in like training in team practices, I never ever was with the posts. I would always switch up, go with the guards, and I think that's very valuable for a tall player. Even if like at the moment necessarily in the games, like I'm not the point guard, but I still it's great to be able to handle because I think for me that gives me a huge advantage against other girls my size. And I think that as well helped me control my body a lot more because like being handling the ball and also like shooting from range, stuff like that. Like I think I when I watch Wemby, like he growing up definitely did that. Like you can just tell
Yeah.
when you play basketball. Like I think that is really, really valuable. Yeah. And I also think core is really important. I have a very like I'd say I have a very weak core. That's what I've been working on for like 2 years. My core.
Well, it'll
Yeah.
pay dividends, I'm sure, the longer it goes. But you're right, cause everything. I want to talk to you about national representation. You've represented Australia before. You're now entering the professional stage of your career where you're eligible and old enough to be considered for Opal selection in the coming years. I can't help but think about Brisbane in 2032. If we look forward to the prime of your career, and where you want to go as a basketball player, what has it meant to you to pull on the green and gold so far in your life? And what aspirations do you have to do that again on an even bigger stage?
Oh my goodness. I was literally thinking about this the other day. Every game we have at home, they play the national anthem, and I look at the American flag and I think I'm like, it gives me flashbacks to like World Cup where we would play America. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm in the green and gold again. Like that, I think about that before every single game when I see the American flag, because that, to me at least, it gives me purpose and it
Yeah.
gives me like I worked so hard to be able to make my first Oz team, and I that always brings back like the memories. I'm like, you worked so hard to be here. Take a deep breath. You got this. So, like for me, pre-game, that's what I think about. I think about playing for Australia, and I know playing for my country, like any girl will tell you this, it's the best feeling in the world. Like just knowing that you worked so hard because it's really difficult to be selected. And so even with the opals, like that would genuinely be my absolute dream. And I think like I have that on my vision board. I do that. I look at it every morning. So I'm really, really just hoping one day I get the call.
You've got
But
a
yeah.
vision board though. That's cool. So what made you create a vision board and can you share anything else on that vision board?
Yeah, I love talking about my vision board. I feel like I
Cool.
do this in every interview. But I love it. I think I started doing it probably when I was like 14
Yep.
and I would do one every single year. And I put two or three main basketball goals on there, and then the rest is like life goals. And
Yep.
altogether, I'll maybe have like 7 to 8
Yep.
max, like just like the main things I want. So like my first year, I put get an offer from the COE. And the key is I write these things as if I've done them. So I write like, for example, if I want to get an offer from the COE, then I wrote like I received an offer from the Center of Excellence and I'm now living in Canberra. And like I write that and I put photos with it and
Yep.
I have like literally a board. And so for example, this year I have like I'm making an impact as a freshman at Stanford. Like that's my main thing. It's just
Yep.
making an impact, helping my team as a freshman. And then my other basketball goal is like tied in with the freshman one is like making the all freshman team. For me, that's like a huge individual goal, but that's not my priority. I think I have another basketball one where it's like our team is in the Elite Eight, Final Four this year. So that is my main goal. And that's all the basketball goals I have this year. So the rest are like my quality of life, like I'm healthy, I take care of my body, I save my money, I invest in my future, things like that. And I know last year, for example, I only had three basketball goals, and it was like make McDonald's All American, make Hoop Summit, and commit to a college where I see my future. Like that was literally
Amazing.
it. So yeah.
Yep. And lastly, there's a lot of parents that listen to this show, as I say, a lot of prospective players. What advice do you have to the 10-year-olds, the 13-year-olds, the 15-year-olds that are kind of walking a similar path to you or love this sport and are currently working themselves towards their own goals, be them big or be them small? What would you be able to pass on to the next generation?
Yeah, I think for me at least, I'd say it all comes from you. If I could like say that, like for
Yep.
example, like my vision boards and my goals, and like I set that out for myself, and I was like, I am gonna make this happen for me, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
I
does.
want it so bad that I'm gonna do everything I can to make like get my dreams. Like for example, like I know a lot of people like, oh, like my parents don't play basketball, I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone. My parents don't play basketball. So I was like, I think if you really want it, you will do everything in your power to get it. And I also think connections are very important. I think when you go to a place, being kind to people, people remember that. I think a lot of the bonds I formed is literally just being at camps and be like, hey, how's your day been? Like stuff like that. And I still talk to these coaches every single day and they'll reach out to me and be like, how are you going? I'm like, great. So I think, yeah, those two pieces of advice I think are very important.
Is it just to see, like most simple explanation is usually the best explanation? It's just hard work, right? Like it's just incremental, constant hard work and pursuit of your goal and plan from what you've said. Like you have a clear vision, you have a plan to get there, you have people around you that can help you execute that plan. But at the end of the day, you've got to get up every morning, you got to work really, really hard every single day to get to it, right?
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. But I also think like for me growing up, balance was very difficult. I know
Yeah.
you probably have met a lot of people. I'm just head down. I love playing basketball my
Yeah.
life. I
Yep.
was like, I think maybe I was like 13, 14. I was like, I need a rest day in there. I need to see my friends once a week.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, my parents very much help me with that. So I think that's super important as well. And I think at the moment, like coming to Stanford, I learned like training smarter,
Yep.
not harder
Harder.
all the time. But I think growing up, like, yeah, just when you feel like your body's, a bit tired, take a day off. Like, I think that's very important as well. Like, keep it a rest day. I think if someone would have told me you need to have one singular day a week where you just don't touch a basketball, that would have helped me a lot. Yeah.
You talk about that. That's such a common problem with teenagers, though. They're trying to balance their social life with their, pursuits and their dreams and their hopes. How did you reconcile that, and how did you overcome the need to have those things sort of opposed to each other? Or is it as simple as, my social circle is within basketball, so therefore I can kind of combine the two? Or was it, carving out certain times to be able to be social and to continue to, fill your cup, so to speak, outside of the court?
I think it's both as well. Like, I think for me at the moment, like, all my friends are on the other side of the world. So I think those relationships I have with them, even being literally, what, 18 hours difference, like, I still talk to them every single day. I make it a priority in my day to, hey, how you been? What happened today? Let me send you a video of what's going on today. Like, I think
Yep.
those relationships are very important. And I know for me, like, when I was home, I had to talk to my parents about this. I was like, my Sundays are my days where I do not do a single thing. I do not mention basketball. I don't even think about basketball. I just sit on the couch and do nothing.
Yep.
And I think it's really important to just have like one singular day where you just rest, like body wise and mentally as well. Like I still and we get a rest day once a week. I use that day to not even think about basketball. I turn my phone off. I do my yoga. I do my meditations. I just yeah, just to myself. Yeah.
Awesome. Lara Somfai, thank you so much for being on Unwrapped today. We wish you all the very best in your career at Stanford, and hopefully we get you on the show again when you're a national champion.
Yes, I would love to. We keep manifesting that one.